Hi guys, welcome. So today on the day of 10th October 2023, we celebrate the World Mental Health Day. Mental health is a very significant aspect of a human life. Especially in your preparation, there are very high chances that your mental health may not be in a proper state. I would advise you to please consult anyone available. Please don't keep it to yourself and please don't attach any type of stigma. Please consult anyone. You can definitely consult me as well if you have any issues regarding mental health. Alright, we have to address that issue, and without addressing that issue, nothing is possible. So please make sure that your mental health is taken care of. With that, let us start today's news in 30 minutes. I hope the initiative is helping you people. However, again I keep reminding you people that this is not to substitute newspaper reading but to complement your newspaper reading. With that, let us start with the first issue of the day. The first issue of the day is mental health and the floundering informal workforce. This is a beautiful editorial written in the Hindu where the author will link the current informal workforce, the status of current informal workforce in India, and how it is taking a toll on their mental health. Now, let us first give a statistics. The author has given 6 different statistics of how the informal workforce is there currently in India, and then the person says because of this informality they are always subjected to mental vulnerabilities. So these 6 statistics are important because you don't have to link it to always mental vulnerabilities. You can link it to different aspects of your syllabus in GS3, but having the statistics of the 6 informality workforce in India is very important so that you can use it in your answers elsewhere. Alright, so let us look at these 6 statistics that the author gives. The first statistics the author gives is 90% of workforce in India is informal. That is the first one. The second, they say that even within the informal workforce there is gender disparities. That is 95% of women workforce. 95% of women workforce are in informal sector. The third statistics is a report called State of Inequality in India. Now, in this report, they say that with the increase in education, unfortunately, unemployment increases. With the increase in education, unemployment increases. To substantiate this, I will give you a fact. Amongst young educated women, the unemployment rate is almost as high as 42%. That is huge. Among young educated women, the unemployment rate is almost 42%. So this shows that with the increase in education, the unemployment is actually increasing. The fourth statistics the author gives is currently India's elderly population is somewhere around 8%, and by 2050 our population of elderlies will go to 20%. That is almost 1/5 of India's population will be elderlies. The fifth statistics that the author gives is according to 2021 NCRB report, 26% of suicides that happen are because of daily wage earners. Again, it's an unfortunate event. The last statistics that the author gives is the code of social security, the code on social security. So what happens, because we brought in labor reforms in 2020, we created 4 different codes. One of the code is the code on social security, and this code also neglects informal workforce. Okay, now all these statistics point that the informal workforce in India is huge and they're facing a lot of problems. Now the author says because of all this, our informal workforce is suffering from these problems. 1, unregulated protection. This is the first problem. The second is long hours of working and exploitation of labor. The third is unsafe working environment. The fourth is lack of social and financial security. Okay, because of these four reasons, our informal workforce is becoming vulnerable, and mainly they are becoming vulnerable to mental health. So this is the main idea of this article. However, though the author has linked it to mental health, you can link it to different aspects, but these 6 statistics can be used in your GS3 paper in different angles. Okay, so this is about article linking informal workforce on India and how it is increasing the mental vulnerabilities in India because of the extensive informality of our workforce. Okay, so this is the first article. The next issue is smart fence along Myanmar border is in pipeline. Okay, this Myanmar border is making news of late because of the Manipur issue, and also a concept called free movement regime is also constantly coming up. So you should know what is this. First of all, let us talk a little bit about this Myanmar border. So if we compare the Indo-Myanmar border, the overall length of the Indo-Myanmar border is 1643 kilometers. That is one. Next, 1472 kilometers is completely demarcated. 1472 kilometers is completely demarcated. Then now this smart fence that is being planned is of 100 kilometers, and it allows or strengthens our surveillance system. Okay, it strengthens our surveillance system. Okay, now why is this surveillance system important? Why do you think the smart fence is important in Myanmar? Is because one, most of our Myanmar border is porous and unfenced. Okay, and the second is unregulated migration that happens from Myanmar into India. Okay, now this has created its own problems, which you will see in a few seconds. Okay, now this is the background of Myanmar border, which is the total length of 1643 kilometers. And within the Indo-Myanmar border, there is an arrangement that is known as free movement regime. Okay, so this is known as FMR or free movement regime. Before I get into that, one more fact I forgot to tell. The states of India that border the Myanmar is 1, Arunachal Pradesh, 2 is Nagaland, 3 is Manipur, and 4 is Mizoram. These are the 4 states of India that border Myanmar. Okay, now let us talk about this concept called free movement regime. Okay, let me show you a diagram and explain that. As you can see, the 4 states of India that borders Myanmar are Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, this is Nagaland, Manipur and Mizoram. So these are the 4 states of India that borders Myanmar, and the total length is 1643 kilometers. Okay, now what is free movement regime? This is nothing but hill tribes on either side of the border, that is the hill tribes of India or the hill tribes of Myanmar. In other words, citizen of India, citizen of Myanmar. Okay, the hill tribes on either side of the border, that is the first condition. The second condition is they have to reside within 16 kilometer from the border on either side. Okay, 16 kilometer on either side of the border. So these are the 2 conditions. One, they have to be the hill tribes of these states. The second is they can be the hill tribes of either citizen of India or citizen of Myanmar, but they have to be the hill tribes of those states. The second condition is they have to reside 16 kilometers on either side of the border. That is, they have to either stay on the 16 kilometers on this side, or they have to stay 16 kilometers on this side. They have to be residing somewhere here. When these 2 conditions matches, then these tribes can move freely between Myanmar and India. These tribes can move freely between Myanmar and India as well as India and Myanmar, and this concept is known as free movement regime. Now, for these tribes to move, they have to get a border pass, and that border pass is of 1 year validity. The next is these tribes, once they move, they can stay up to 2 weeks per visit. So this is what is free movement regime. The reason for this arrangement is the respect for the cultural homogeneity of these tribes along the border post. To respect the cultural homogeneity, this concept of free movement has happened within the border or between the border of India and Myanmar. Okay, so this is the concept. Now let us come back to what is the problem with India and Myanmar border. One, they are porous and unfenced, and another is unregulated migration. Because of this, what has happened is because of this, the free market, the free movement regime that is there, this is currently cancelled or is currently put on hold in the state of Manipur. That is, Manipur is not allowing the free movement regime. The reason is simple. The reason is, it says, one, increase in violent activities in Manipur is because of this free movement regime. Many insurgent groups have entered through this unfenced border and making use of this FMR, and they are creating violent activities in Myanmar. These insurgent groups are of different ethnic tribes. They can be of Meitei, Kuki, they can be of Zomi, as well as they can be also HMAR. So these are all different tribes and insurgent groups within these tribes who have entered and create violent activities. This is one reason why FMR in Manipur is stopped. The second reason is, according to the Ministry of Home Affairs report 2022, 137 violent activities out of 201 overall violent activities in Northeast has occurred in Manipur. 137 out of 201 overall violent activities has occurred only in Manipur. Because of these two reasons, Manipur has put the free movement regime on hold. Okay, so this is why India-Myanmar border is in news, and you have to know about the issues happening along this border. Okay, so this is about this issue. So I hope you got clarity about this India-Myanmar border. The next issue that we will discuss is urban unemployment rate drops to 6.6% in Q1. Okay, so this particular statistics is given by Periodic Labor Force Survey. This is taken by NSSO. Okay, so the Periodic Labor Force Survey given by NSSO has given the first urban unemployment rate for Q1. Whenever they say Q1, it runs from April to June. Okay, that is 3 months. So there are 4 quarters. One quarter will run for 3 months. Since in India the financial year starts from 1st of April, the first quarter will always run for April, May and June. So you should know this. Next, now the PLFS, the survey that has done by NSSO, has given a very good statistics that you can use in your answers elsewhere also. Okay, that is why I am giving this particular statistics. Now this is how they have given. If you take urban India, and if you take pre-pandemic, and if you take post-pandemic, look at the improvement, look at the bounce back urban India has done post the pandemic. Okay, if you take labor force participation rate, it was 46.2%, now it is 48.8%. Look at workforce participation rate or worker participation rate, it was 41.8%, it is 45.5%. Okay, the next is unemployment rate. As the heading itself reads, unemployment rate has reduced drastically. It was 9.7% and now it is currently 6.6%. So this is an example of how urban India has bounced back and how it is proved that it is the driver or engine for the growth of India. Okay, so that is about the urban India. So this periodic labor force survey has given an excellent statistics how pre-pandemic to post-pandemic urban India has bounced back. So you can use this definitely in your answers anywhere where it they ask regarding urbanization in India. Okay, so this is a very short but very important article. The next is Sri Lanka to take over as chair for Indian Ocean Rim Association, which is known as IORA. Okay, Indian Ocean is a very, very significant geostrategic position in the world, and all the littoral nations of Indian Ocean have come together to create this organization called IORA. You should have some idea about this organization. One, you should know that it was formed in 1997. The second is it is an intergovernmental organization, or it is an intergovernmental organization or association. Okay, the third is it has 23 members currently with 11 dialogue partners. Okay, it has 23 members as well as 11 dialogue partners. And the next is it has its secretariat at EBENE. I don't know how to pronounce it. EBENE in Mauritius. Okay, it has its secretariat in EBENE in Mauritius. So, in 2021, the chair was handled by Bangladesh. Every 2 years, there is a change in the chairperson. So, the chair from 2021 in 2023 is now going to Sri Lanka. Okay, so this is what is Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay, now let us just look at before I show you the members of IORA. You should know the importance of Indian Ocean. Okay, these two statistics prove the importance of Indian Ocean. One is 50% of world's cargo transits through Indian Ocean. 50% of the world's cargo transits through Indian Ocean. The second is 2/3 of world's oil shipments. Okay, 2/3 of the world's oil shipments transit through Indian Ocean. This shows the geostrategic aspect of the Indian Ocean. 50% of the world's cargo and 2/3 of the world's oil moves through Indian Ocean. This shows the significance of Indian Ocean. Okay, now to show you the members of IORA, there are two types. One is 23 member states plus 11 dialogue partners. So as you can see in this diagram, you have in blue color are the member states. So the member states run from Africa, they are in West Asia, then they are in South Asia, they are also there in Southeast Asia and Oceania. Okay, so these are basically the littoral countries of Indian Ocean. And then you also have observer states, as you can see, UK, France, Germany, Japan, China, Egypt, as well as USA. These are our few dialogue partners. So this is what is the Indian Ocean Rim Association. If you take Indian Ocean, India has contributed tremendously in the Indian Ocean. For example, the INCOIS, that is the Indian National Center for Ocean Information Studies, provides early warning system for all countries of Indian Ocean regarding tsunami. So the early warning of tsunami is given by this INCOIS from India to all the littoral nations of Indian Ocean. That is the first contribution. The second contribution of India to Indian Ocean is it is also created something called Coalition for Disaster Resilience Infrastructure, and it calls for all the littoral nations of Indian Ocean to develop the resilience in their infrastructure in order to mitigate disaster loss. Okay, that is the second thing. The third is it has created something called Information Fusion Center. Okay, so this Information Fusion Center currently it is headquartered in Gurugram, and it provides real-time information on maritime to all the littoral nations of Indian Ocean. That is another contribution of India to Indian Ocean. The fourth contribution of India is the concept of Sagar. Okay, Sagar means security and growth of all in the region. So when they say security and growth of all in the region, it is mainly to do with all the littoral nations of Indian Ocean. So this is the contribution of India to Indian Ocean. INCOIS providing security and early warning regarding tsunami. CDRI, that is Coalition on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, to be focusing because Indian Ocean countries have common disasters. They can share the best practices, share the common practices that can help mitigate disaster. CDRI becomes very important. The next is Information Fusion Center in providing real-time maritime information to these littoral nations. And the last is Sagar Initiative, that is security and growth of all in the region. Basically, India's contribution to Indian Ocean has been tremendous in order to make sure that it can remove the influence of China within this region, which China is assertively trying to extend. So this is about the Indian Ocean Rim Association. Okay, the last article today is India gets fresh fifth set of Swiss bank account information of individuals, corporates and trusts. Okay, there is something called tax havens. What are tax havens? Tax havens are places where the taxes are kept very low or there is no tax at all. So what used to happen is people used to use this tax haven for tax evasion, for holding black money, as well as base erosion and profit sharing. Because of these three reasons, tax havens were being used tremendously. Like Singapore, like Seychelles, Swiss, they were being used. Now, what happened? Because of these irregularities, G20 nations along with OECD came up with a concept called Common Reporting Standard. They came up with something called CRC for automatic exchange of information. Okay, they came up with something called CRS-AEOI, that is Common Reporting Standards, that is CRS with AEOI, that is automatic exchange of information. Now this concept was brought in the year 2014, and India was an early adopter of this CRS. So India adopted this in 2017. Okay, India adopted the Common Reporting Standard, automatic exchange of information. This particular concept was adopted in India in 2017 because India knew that a lot of tax evasion, round tripping as well as black money is being held in different tax havens. Now with this concept being adopted, India signed an agreement with Switzerland, and that agreement was signed in 2018, and that agreement is known as Automatic Tax Related Information Sharing Agreement. Okay, Automatic Tax Related Information Sharing Agreement. So after this agreement was signed, annually Switzerland will share the information of financial accounts. Okay, the information of financial accounts held in Switzerland of all the three. Don't forget, it will share the information of individuals, corporates as well as trusts. So it will share all the three. Alright, and this is done on an annual basis. So the first report was shared on 2019. So after that 20, 21, 22, 23. So on 2023 it is sharing its fifth automatic tax related information sharing as per the agreement. So this helps overcome tax evasion, and it helps bring back all the money back into the economy, and in turn helps the growth trajectory of developing countries like India. So this is mainly to do with this article. So what you should know is the Common Reporting Standard, the automatic exchange of information, and India adopting this standard, and India and Switzerland signing the agreement of automatic tax related information sharing and agreement. And also please know the concepts like tax evasion, base erosion and profit sharing. Alright, so this completes today's important issues. I hope these issues were relatable and you could understand the concepts much better. Again, please read the newspapers, and please take care of your mental health, because nothing comes above your mental health. Not this exam, nothing else, but your mental health should be the top priority. Self-care is the ultimate goal of everyone. So please take care of yourself. Please like, share and subscribe this video as much as possible so that I am incentivized and motivated to keep bringing this video on regular basis. Okay guys, so thank you so much for all the love and receiving of this videos. Keep it coming. Thank you so much. I'll meet you tomorrow. Bye.